So, picture this, the 41st millennium. It's a galaxy defined by non-stop apocalyptic war, where humanity is just barely hanging on. But what happens when you drop a brand new predator into this absolute meat grinder? A predator who doesn't play by the rules of gods or empires, but by the much older, much more brutal laws of evolution. Today, we're going to dive into what happens when Alex Mercer lands in the grim darkness of Warhammer 40K.
And that's really the core question here, isn't it? For 10,000 years, this galaxy has perfected the art of killing. I mean, from the Imperium's genetically engineered super soldiers to entire alien species designed for nothing but consumption. So, what happens when a singular apex predator shows up, only to find himself at the bottom of a brand new, terrifyingly massive food chain?
Okay, for anyone who might not be familiar with Alex Mercer, you gotta understand, he's not really a man anymore. He's a living virus. He can perfectly mimic anyone he consumes, absorbing their knowledge, their skills, everything. He can regenerate from pretty much any injury you can imagine, and his body is basically a shape-shifting biological weapon. He is, in every sense of the word, a one-man evolutionary crisis.
Now, Mercer's story here doesn't kick off on some grand battlefield.
Nah.
It begins in the muck and the shadows of a massive city's underbelly, an underhive on a world called Tertium Majoris. This is where he starts to learn the rules of his new reality, and where that reality first learns to be afraid of him.
A local gang, the Skullbreakers, they thought they'd stumbled on some easy prey. Instead, well, they found Mercer, and his methods are brutally efficient. He doesn't just kill their leader, he consumes him, absorbing his memories, the local language, all his knowledge of this new world. The rest of the gang, they just become fuel, more biomass. In a flash, the local power balance is just gone. And Mercer is walking around wearing its old leader's face.
The speed here is just staggering. 47 individuals consumed in just a few days. See, he's not just killing for territory, he's hunting for information. Every single person he absorbs is like a book he's speed reading, another piece of the puzzle. He is methodically mapping out this brutal new world, one body at a time. Something this violent, this efficient? It's not going to stay a secret for long. Whispers of a shape-shifting monster down in the underhive, they start to travel up the chain of command, and what started as a local gang problem quickly becomes a full-blown investigation by the Imperium's most feared authorities.
So first, they send in the local law enforcement, the Arbites. Think heavily armed, fanatical space police. They roll in with combat shotguns and full armor, expecting to deal with a typical mutant uprising or something. But what they find is a creature that has already consumed soldiers, that already understands their tactics, and that can regenerate from their heavy weapons in seconds. The few who make it out are completely broken, just babbling about a monster that was wearing their friends' faces.
And that gets the attention of the real power in the Imperium, Inquisitor Helia Corvain of the Ordo Xenos. That's the branch that deals with alien threats. She shows up and just lays it all out. This isn't a negotiation, it's an ultimatum from an organization that has the authority to literally destroy entire planets. Mercer has just gone from an underhive rumor to a potential extinction-level threat in the eyes of the Imperium.
But, the Imperium isn't the only power player in this galaxy. There are much darker, much older things out there. So Corvain gives Mercer a test: infiltrate a chaos cult. And this is where Mercer comes face to face with the metaphysical horror of the 41st millennium, the raw psychic energy of the warp.
His approach to this is it's absolutely audacious. The cult's initiation rite involves drinking from a chalice that's tainted by the warp, an act that would corrupt or just kill any normal being. Mercer doesn't just fake it, he downs the whole thing. He basically treats demonic possession like it's a software bug, allowing his viral biology to analyze the corruption at a cellular level.
The result is, it's astonishing. The Blacklight virus doesn't just resist the corruption of a chaos god, it digests it. It breaks down the demonic influence, analyzes it, and just stores it away as data. In a galaxy where the tiniest exposure to chaos can damn your soul for all eternity, Mercer proves his biology is just stronger. This has literally never happened before.
So, having proven he can handle the Imperium, and even its demons, Mercer turns his attention to the galaxy's other apex predator, a force of nature that shares his core philosophy of consumption and adaptation, the Tyranids. This is where the real fight begins. And right here you can see the fundamental difference between them. Mercer is the ultimate individualist. He evolves for himself, by himself.
The Tyranids, they're the ultimate collectivists. The swarm is everything. The individual creature is nothing. There are two sides of the exact same evolutionary coin, and they are on a direct collision course.
To understand his new rival, Mercer does what he always does. He eats one. He absorbs a tiny Tyranid ripper, and in that single instant, he touches the hive mind. And the hive mind, this ancient consciousness that spans entire galaxies, it touches back. It senses something totally new, something that's consuming its biomass but isn't joining the network. An anomaly. An error in the code that has to be deleted. And just like that, the hunt is on.
Now that the hive mind is paying attention, Mercer is facing threats on a whole new scale, and he's forced to change his approach. He can't just rely on raw power anymore. He has to fight smarter. He starts to see the Tyranids not just as a physical enemy, but as a system that can be exploited.
But before that swarm arrives, the Imperium sends in its absolute best, the Death Watch. These are elite space marines, the finest alien hunters in the entire galaxy. And in this one fight, Mercer shows his true potential. He starts integrating the Tyranid DNA he's already absorbed, literally forming bio-armor and scything talons right in the middle of combat. Then he consumes a space marine, downloading centuries of combat doctrine in an instant. The verdict from the few survivors is clear. This thing is an apex-tier threat. The only solution is exterminatus, total planetary annihilation.
And then the hive mind makes its move. It doesn't send a scouting party. It sends a vanguard swarm. 3 billion organisms, all converging on Mercer's position, all with a single purpose: find and analyze the anomaly. That number is just insane. It's an overwhelming force sent to test one single being.
The hive mind strategy is brutally simple, and honestly, it's worked for eons across countless galaxies. Just throw biomass at the problem until it goes away. It sees Mercer as a powerful but singular organism. What it fundamentally underestimates is that Mercer isn't just a monster. He's a rival intelligence.
And this brings up a fascinating question. The Tyranids' greatest strength is their perfect psychic link, the hive mind. But what if that incredible strength could actually be turned into a weakness? What if you could hack not just a computer, but an entire species?
And that is exactly what he does. Instead of trying to fight 3 billion creatures on the ground, he goes straight for the command node, the massive hive ship in orbit. He gets inside this 40-kilometer-long biological warship, and he attacks its central consciousness, severing the local swarm's connection to the greater hive mind. He doesn't just win the battle, he lobotomizes the entire enemy force, leaving billions of creatures totally mindless and disorganized.
This impossible victory changes absolutely everything. Mercer is no longer just a survivor or some under-hive rumor. He has proven he can challenge one of the galaxy's greatest threats and win on his own terms. He is now, officially, a player on the galactic stage.
So here's the new state of play. The Inquisition? They see him as a terrifying but potentially useful weapon. The tech priests of the Mechanicus see an unprecedented biological marvel, a research opportunity. And the Tyranids? Oh, they no longer see an anomaly they need to study. They see an existential threat, a rival philosophy of evolution that must be exterminated at all costs. And Mercer's plan? Hunt them before they can hunt him.
And so, we're left with this one final chilling question. By defeating chaos cults and lobotomizing entire Tyranid swarms, is Mercer some kind of unwitting savior? A biological weapon the Imperium can actually aim at its enemies? Or is he simply a new kind of monster, an evolutionary plague that once it has consumed all the galaxy's other horrors, will turn its hunger on humanity itself? The hunt has evolved, and the answer, well, it remains terrifyingly unclear.